When I was doing this presentation, I really had a hard time building what my community was because, you hear stories about I've known this person for 7 years, I've been in Silver Spring for 7 years, all these times. But the question is your community where you're from? Or is it where you grew up? Is it your school? Is it your college? And with that, I would say I'm more of a master of all trades. I like doing everything in my hands. I will play drums, I'll dance, basketball, every single thing that comes under my hands. And one thing I realized was, as you grow up, it's really important. It was very important for me to realize what is community. We keep speaking about community. What is community? And it's described as a group of people are sharing one characteristic or sharing a theme. In this case, it could be a PechaKucha community. And I had to go to myself to understand what is my community. And it's important to know that I was born and raised in Cameroon, and I had the blessing to travel to different parts of the world. And one thing I told myself was every place I go to, I want to make that my community. I wanted to be able to say, I've been to France, I know something about France, I have a French community. And so let's go back to the origin, where it all started for me. I started in Cameroon, and Cameroon, for those who know, it's a country in West Africa, close to Nigeria, and it's a bilingual country. So for the most part, they all speak English and French. So when people ask me where you're from, they pick up on my accent, and people guess. They say, well, I think you're Jamaican, I think you're Ethiopian, and they give me a lot of different origins. But I'm from Cameroon, and the very first community was my family. That's the very first community you learn to get. My mom, that's me, a cute baby right there. My cousins, my sisters, and that's the very first community back home in the African community is your family. And as you go on, what you realize that you only have a family, but you have a tribe. And in my case, I'm from Bangante. And the Bangante people speak French, and they're very fan of eating next to a bonfire. So when I go back to the village, we have these things where we sit across each other and we take corn and plums and put it in there and roast them. And thinking about this today, this is probably, you think, unhealthy, but they're so delicious. I can explain how, but this is one of the little things that happen around community. So you have grandparents, kids, children all sitting around this bonfire, telling stories, and that's how you learn. And as you grow up, in my case, the next community I formed was my very early primary school education community. And there, I get to meet people whom I might probably spend the next 6 years with. And the college I went to, I was blessed to have a college where a lot of those kids were international. And you meet a lot of people from everywhere. And as I said early on, I would involve myself in every single thing. So as much as I love going to school, I love basketball. And basketball is the same thing. It's a team. What you do realize is that team is also a community. You guys come together to share a passion for sports. In my case, that was basketball. And the next thing was when I went to college. In that case, I thought I knew what I was going to be in college. I never knew I'll have dreads at that time. But then again, this group of people are people up to date. We still stay friends. We haven't seen ourselves in probably 4 years. But at that particular point in time, we came together because we're all passionate about technology. And the next one is probably your Facebook community. I think everybody has Facebook. But growing in Cameroon, Facebook was very, very important because people seriously create really, really cool friends on Facebook and people you never met before. But for one reason, Facebook became so popular. And there are over, I think, 1 billion users on Facebook today. So I think that's a very important community to know. I love cake, all types of cake, cheese, velvet, ice cream. And I think this community of cake lovers, I haven't found one yet. So if you're one, please let me know. I'd love to chat with you after that. This is the and as I traveled across the states, one important place I went to was Chicago, and it's important. One thing I learned was in all the different states, in the United States of America, each state has a specific community to them, and it was very important for me to learn from each state. This was back in Columbus, Ohio. Very cold, very, very cold for Cameroonian. I love the temperature. But that's a community which I love because they were all about dancing and all about getting together. and I got to meet a really, really cool set of people. And again, that community was around getting together, having fun. And DC, this is more of the DC community, not the Silver Spring community, which I'll be coming up to. This is the DC community. In this case, a group of people I met during DC Tech meetup, all about tech, but at the very same time, we come together as a community to learn a specific subject. And then we have the famous, I hope I say this right, PechaKucha, PechaKucha community, which again is kind of the same concept. Is these different things in your life where you come together, but you all come together for a specific team. So the thing is, where do you belong? Do you belong to your home community, or do you belong to all these individual communities you use as you go forward? I'll have to say Silver Spring is the best community I've been through in all my life. I love the diversity, I love the people, I love the culture, I love every single thing, every aspect, the food. I can find local food, I can find every type of food. And that's the reason why my partner and I started IO Spaces in Silver Spring, was because co-working space is about community. And one thing I loved about the fact that down in Silver Spring we have Creative Colony, we have the new 3D Catalito, Always Catalito, and we have IO Spaces. And for us, it was about getting a community of like-minded people that were passionate about technology from all legs of the world. You know, we have a diverse and cultural space. We have people from over 20 countries in our space today. And you know, I just want to let you know that community is not always necessarily where you come from. Don't let the society's definition of community constrict you. Your community could be anything. It could be around cake, ice cream, beer, any single thing. Thank you very much.